what's up, YouTube? YouTube. YouTube. What's up? What's up? What's up? Come on in. 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 Come on in, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope all the mothers had a great Mother's Day. Hope everybody got out. Yep. Got a good live for you people. Got a good live. Continuation from Friday. I was speaking of all the unaliving that happened just here in Chicago just last year, 2025. So I'm going to finish that video. Might touch on a few other things. So it's going to be a short video. I mean a short live. So it's not going to be that long. But gonna be part two. In 2025, it was one of the highest unalive rate in Chicago. One of the highest unalive rate in Chicago amongst black on black crime. And it's crazy. But like I said before, gangs are different than they was back in the day. It's not like what flag you on, a certain flag or whatever. It's about clicks now. It's about clicks. So you have some people broke off, they, got a name for their own clique. Just not, Black Stones or Disciples or Black Disciples or nothing like that. It's different cliques, different names. And most of them all came from a particular game, but they had, kind of made their own game. They kind of made their own game. So, like I said, we're going to go over that video. Then, a little questions or whatever. Then we're going to go from there. Yeah, I hope everybody had a good morning. Good weekend, rather. Let me just get to that video. Okay. Okay, now, it's going to be a continuous. Like I say, I'm going to go back a little bit. But remember, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna this towards the end of August. It's the end of August. And just watch how the patterns, the different gang names and people represent different cliques. Okay, here we go. This is
succumbed to his injuries and was later pronounced dead. The shooter managed to jump back into the sedan and flee the scene before police could respond to the calls of shots fired. The loss of Lil Fo is a significant hit to the Shaw mob circle, occurring in a territory that has seen intense activity throughout the summer. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are leading the investigation into the broad daylight homicide. September 15, 2025, East Side, Chicago.
what's
The
up,
early morning
neighbors?
silence of the 10,600 block of South Avenue M was broken just before 3 a.m. 17-year-old Adonis Weber, known as Lil B40, repping Beach Block, was targeted in a lethal shooting that left him unresponsive on the pavement. A witness reported hearing a loud noise and discovering the teenager on the ground suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. Lil B40 was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he fought for several hours before being pronounced dead. The shooter managed to vanish into the darkness of the East Side neighborhood before authorities arrived. The loss of Lil B40, a young member of the Beach Block Circle, adds to the rising toll of violence involving teenagers in the city. No arrests have been made, and Area 2 detectives are currently investigating the circumstances surrounding the shooting. September 15, 2025, Uptown Chicago. The late night hours on one of Uptown's most volatile blocks turned into a deadly ambush at approximately 10:28 p.m. 17-year-old Khalif Norwood, known as Lil Jack, repping High City Hula Gang, was standing in an alley behind the 5,000 block of North Winthrop Avenue when he was surrounded by a group of 8 individuals. Someone within the group produced a firearm and opened fire, striking Lil Jack multiple times. Responding officers attempted life-saving measures, including the application of a chest seal, but the injuries were too severe. He was pronounced dead shortly after. Surveillance footage captured the 8 suspects fleeing south on Winthrop and then west on Argyle. The execution of Lil Jack marks Uptown's first homicide of 2025 and is a major blow to the High City Circle. In anticipation of potential retaliation, police immediately flooded rival territories near Sunnyside and Magnolia. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 3 detectives are leading the investigation. September.
As you can see, it's a lot of YNs. What's up, Moonlight? What's up, Takeover Soldier Boy? It's a lot of YNs, man. These YNs, man, they are going absolutely nuts. They out of control, man. These YNs don't care about nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. They don't respect nothing. These YNs, man. These YNs these YNs have a bigger heart than some of these other older game bangers back in the day. Cause these YNs just don't care. They don't care. You know, they don't care at all. Yeah. Yeah, they took control. Let's continue.
22nd, 2025, Austin, Chicago. The mid-afternoon quiet of the 5500 block of West Lake Street was shattered by a targeted execution at approximately 3 p.m. 35-year-old Nathaniel Jefferson, known as Rooster or Nate, repping Sniper Gang YFN, was sitting inside a parked vehicle when an unidentified assailant approached on foot. The gunman pulled out a firearm and unleashed multiple rounds into the vehicle, striking Rooster several times. He was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital in critical condition, but he was later pronounced dead. The shooter managed to flee the scene and disappear into the surrounding West Side neighborhood before police could arrive. The loss of Rooster marks another significant blow to the Sniper Gang circle, occurring just 2 weeks after the fatal shooting of fellow member Tyree Reese. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are reviewing surveillance footage from the Lake Street corridor as the investigation
What's up, Dwayne?
continues. September 25th, 2025. West Garfield Park, Chicago. The night ended in violence on the 4000 block of West Wilcox Street at approximately 10 p.m. 34-year-old John L. Austin, known as Chico, repping DB Lock 4000, was found unresponsive on the sidewalk after a flurry of gunfire. Chico had been struck multiple times across his body. Responding officers discovered him in critical condition, and he was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The shooting took place in the heart of DB Lock territory, and the assailant managed to escape into the night before a perimeter could be established. The loss of Chico is a major hit to the DB Lock 4000 circle, occurring in an area that has faced persistent conflict throughout the month. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are investigating the motive behind the fatal shooting. September 26, 2025, Chatham, Chicago. The afternoon turned deadly inside a residence on the first block of East 89th Street at approximately 5 p.m. 19-year-old Makiel Moore, known as Glizzy Day Tweaker, repping ABK, was inside the home when gunfire erupted. Glizzy Day Tweaker, a resident of South Holland, was struck multiple times during the incident. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was later pronounced dead. During the initial sweep of the scene, officers recovered 2 firearms from the residence and took a person of interest into custody for questioning. The loss of Glizzy the Tweaker is a significant blow to the ABK circle, occurring during a period of heightened tension on the South Side. While a person of interest is being interrogated, the investigation remains active as Area 2 detectives work to determine the exact circumstances of the shooting. September 27th, 2025, Sheridan Park, Chicago. The night air on the 1200 block of West Sunnyside Avenue was shattered by gunfire at approximately 11:50 p.m. 18-year-old Stephen Hammond, known as Lil Scoom, repping High City Hooligan, was found unresponsive in the streets, suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. Lil Scoom was rushed to Illinois Masonic Hospital, but his injuries were fatal, and he was later pronounced dead. A 27-year-old woman was also struck in the arm during the barrage. She was taken to the same hospital and listed in good condition. At the scene, responding officers recovered 4 firearms, indicating a heavy exchange of gunfire. The loss of Lil Scoom is a devastating blow to the High City Circle, occurring on the same block that has seen repeated violence throughout the year and just 12 days after the loss of fellow member Lil Jack. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 3 detectives are investigating the circumstances of the shootout. September 29th, 2025, South Shore, Chicago. The mid-afternoon hours on the 2500 block of East 78th Street were marked by a violent ambush at approximately 3:39 p.m. 26-year-old Jalen Hibbler, known as J-Dog, repping NLMB, and a 17-year-old boy were in an alley when an unidentified assailant opened fire. J-Dog sustained multiple gunshot wounds and was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he later succumbed to his injuries. The teenager was struck in the chest and remains in critical condition at the same hospital. The shooter managed to flee the scene and remains at large. The loss of J-Dog is a significant blow to the NLMB circle, occurring in a high-activity area of the South Shore. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 2 detectives are leading the investigation into the fatal shooting, September 30th.
See, a lot of YNs, man. A lot of YNs. Tell you, man, I don't know what the problem is, man. Excuse me. I don't know what the problem is. These YNs now is just out of control. They out of control. You know, you had this gang violence. Then you had this so-called teenage takeover. What is up with these YNs, man? Where's the parents? You know, where's the parents? Now, remember I told you guys before that Chicago has one of the highest rates of homelessness of teenagers. Teenagers living on the street. So you got a lot of these teenagers just surviving. They're just out here. And they get it, associated with a certain clique. They just wild because they have nothing to live for. Nothing. So they just wilding, man. Let's continue.
2025, East Garfield Park, Chicago, the morning hours on the 2900 block of West Harrison Street were marked by a targeted shooting at approximately 11:06 a.m. 24-year-old Jamari Griffin, known as J Money, repping Hob Mob, was on the block when an unidentified gunman approached him on foot and opened fire. J Money was struck multiple times and was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. The shooter managed to flee the area immediately following the attack and remains at large. The loss of J Money is a significant blow to the Hob Mob circle, occurring in a high visibility corridor of East Garfield Park during the late morning. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are leading the investigation into the homicide. October 3rd, 2025. Englewood, Chicago. The early morning hours on the 6600 block of South Normal Avenue were marked by a grim discovery at approximately 2:33 a.m. 44-year-old Noon Thurmond, known as Noonie, repping OTL, often associated with Folly Boys, was found dead inside a residence alongside a 38-year-old woman. Both Noonie and the woman had sustained fatal gunshot wounds to the head and were pronounced dead at the scene. While the incident was initially investigated as a double homicide, evidence at the scene, including a recovered weapon and family accounts, led authorities to investigate the possibility of a murder-suicide. The loss of Noonie, a veteran figure from the OTL circle, is a significant event within the Englewood community. Area 1 detectives are continuing their investigation to finalize the details of the tragedy. October 13th, 20...
I kind of remember that case. They're trying to say it was like a double homicide. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I never. I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think it was a double homicide. I believe somebody unalived them. What's up, Leslie? No, no, you're right, Leslie. Well, you know about Chicago, Leslie. You know about Chicago. Like I say, Chicago is not a bad place, but you just got to know how to move. Stay the like I tell people, I just stay the hell out the way. Some of these YNs, I just stay the hell out the way. Because you can't control these YNs, man. Some of these YNs is just totally out of control. And you have some good YNs mixed in the middle. What's up, Shotty? You got some YNs just mixed in the middle. And then the type of YNs, some of the YNs I come across. Some of them want to get away, but some of them just get caught up in the mixture. Just like I used to say, I used to get affiliated with a certain game because I lived in that neighborhood or because of my friends. Just because my friend rolled on the Sunday game, a certain game, I was automatically one. So sometimes that shit happens. It's a shame because nine times out of 10, you grew up with that person. But the lesson of the thing is, if you know somebody and they possibly into some crazy stuff, no matter how good of friends you are, man, you got to keep your distance. You know, by me living in Chicago, if I know you into some crazy shit or whatever, I'm not gonna hang with you. If we friends or not. If I see you, what's up, dog? What's happening? Boom, boom, boom. I'm gone. I'm moving. Because I don't know what this person did or what they did to somebody. So you gotta just know how to move, man. You gotta be careful who you hang with. You can't hang with nobody who's in the dirty shit. You can't do it. Because you might get caught in the crossfire. Let's continue.
25, Fuller Park, Chicago, the afternoon on a 300 block of West Root Street turned into a deadly ambush at approximately 4:15 p.m. 39-year-old Ricky C. Connors, known as Hell Rel, rapping Princeton Mob, was in the area when two gunmen approached him and opened fire. Hell Rel, a resident of Phoenix, Illinois, was struck multiple times by the barrage of gunfire. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was later pronounced dead. The two assailants managed to flee the scene immediately following the shooting and remain at large. The loss of Hell Rel is a significant blow to the Princeton mob circle, occurring in a territory that has seen several violent incidents this year. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 1 detectives are reviewing neighborhood surveillance to identify the two gunmen involved in the targeted attack. October 14th, 2025, Grand Boulevard, Chicago, the late night hours on the first block of West 44th Street were marked by a fatal shooting at approximately 11:35 p.m. 28-year-old Dominic Messiah Gibson, known as Domo, repping Mafia Town Trigger Gang, was discovered by police suffering from a catastrophic gunshot wound to the head. Domo, a resident of the 8800 block of South Wood Street, was pronounced dead at the scene. The timing and nature of the injury suggests a targeted execution in a quiet corridor of the Grand Boulevard neighborhood. The assailant managed to flee the area undetected before authorities arrived. The loss of Domo is a significant blow to the Mafia Town circle. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 1 detectives are investigating the motive behind the attack and searching for any witnesses or video footage from the surrounding area. October.
Yeah, see, this gang shit is real. This gang shit is real. And the question is, how can we stop all this? What's the solution to stop all this? You know, what is the solution to stop all this? Because, as they say, where there's poverty, there's crime. Where there's poverty, there's crime. And if anybody live in Chicago, Leslie, you live in Chicago. It's crazy. It's crazy. Uh, the city government ain't doing nothing for the people, especially black people in Chicago, black and poor people, black and brown, put it that way, because I include the Latin American brothers and sisters. You know, but the only thing about the Latin brothers and sisters, they stick together more than we do. They still have crime amongst each other because they have gangs too. But that community sticks more together than we do. Yeah, legend. You know, Brandon Johnson, he ran for mayor for his own agenda. Because if you remember, Leslie, before he became mayor, the city was going against the school board. It was trying to get a new contract. Because that's how Lori Lightfoot got in. Because she promised the school board this and that and this and that. Then when she got in, she backtracked. So they got Brandon Johnson. So they got Brandon Johnson. Let's finish this. This is from Top Viral Report TV. It's like all 300 plus Chicago gang members unalived in 2025. The deadliest year exposed. Let's continue.
22nd, 2025, Austin, Chicago. The mid-afternoon on the 4900 block of West Erie Street was the scene of a violent confrontation at approximately 3:36 p.m. 43-year-old Quintez D. Thompson, known as Black Repping EMG, was with a 39-year-old companion when they were approached by a group of 5 men. One individual from the group produced a firearm and unleashed multiple rounds at the 2 men. Black was struck in the head and chest. He was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The 39-year-old victim, also hit multiple times, managed to transport himself to Loretto Hospital, where he remains in critical condition. The loss of Black is a significant hit to the EMG circle, occurring in broad daylight in the heart of the Austin neighborhood. The 5 suspects fled the scene together and remain at large. Area 4 detectives are currently investigating the motive and searching for video evidence of the group's arrival or escape. October 26, 2025. Little Village, Chicago. The afternoon on the 3100 block of South St. Louis Avenue was marked by a violent triple shooting at approximately 3 p.m. 35-year-old Devin Shakalier Jr., known as OTF Bezu, a high-profile figure repping THF 46, was in a parking lot when a vehicle pulled up and an occupant unleashed a heavy barrage of gunfire. Collier was struck multiple times in the torso. He was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital in critical condition, where he fought for his life before being pronounced dead on Monday morning. 2 other men, aged 39 and 42, were also struck in the back and limbs during the attack. Both were transported to the same hospital and listed in fair condition. The loss of Bezu is a major event within the city's landscape, as he was a well-known and influential member of the THF 46 and OTF circles. The location of the shooting in Little Village, territory typically removed from his primary base, has added a layer of complexity to the investigation. No suspects are currently in custody. Area 4 detectives are working to identify the vehicle used in the ambush, while police departments across the south and west sides remain on high alert for potential retaliatory violence. October.
What's up, Babe Baker? Man, it is insane. It's insane. And like I say, I know this is happening in cities all over the United States, man. It just ain't the YNs in Chicago. It's just these YNs, period. Some of these YNs have no respect for anybody, no respect for the police, no respect for authority at all. They just out like willy nilly, doing whatever the hell they want to do. It's like they grown and take care of that. Like I say, most of these YNs, they on survival mode. Some of these YNs stand with fellow gang members. They're not living in no family household. Some of them living on the streets, living pillow to post. So that's why they don't see no future. They don't see no bright light at the end of the tunnel. They can't see it. Let's continue.
27, 2025, Greater Grand Crossing, Chicago. The late afternoon commute turned into a targeted attack on the 7600 block of South Vincennes Avenue. At approximately 4:56 p.m., 26-year-old Ariana Bosby, known as G. Airy repping Triumph, was inside a vehicle when another car pulled alongside and an occupant opened fire. G. Airy, a resident of Normal, Illinois, was struck in the abdomen. She was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition, but she later succumbed to her injuries. The shooters sped away immediately following the gunfire and have not yet been identified. The loss of G. Airy is a significant hit to the TMB circle, occurring just one day after the high-profile death of OTF Bezu. Given the close ties and historical alliances involved, the incident has further intensified the atmosphere on the South Side. No suspects are currently in custody.
And that was a beautiful young black sister. Life wasted because of who she was associated with.
And Area 6 detectives are reviewing traffic camera footage from the Vincent's corridor. October 31st, 2025, University Village, Chicago. The afternoon on the 1300 block of West Grand Share Street was shattered by a drive-by shooting at approximately 4:15 p.m. 15-year-old John Thomas, known as Maj, repping Tedder Mob, was standing on the sidewalk when a vehicle pulled up and an occupant opened fire. Marge was struck in the chest and leg. He was rushed to Stroger Hospital, but the injuries proved fatal and he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The vehicle involved in the shooting sped away from the scene immediately following the gunfire and has not been located. The loss of Major, a young member of the Tedder Mob Circle, marks a tragic end to the month of October. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 3 detectives are leading the investigation, looking for any surveillance footage from the University Village area that may have captured the suspect vehicle. November 2nd, 2025, Racine, Wisconsin. The evening at a local restaurant was shattered by a brutal assassination at approximately 5:30 p.m. 25-year-old Jaquan Calhoun, known as SGKD, repping Mafia Town, Trigger Gang, was inside the Chicken Palace on Washington Avenue when a gunman wearing a face covering burst through the door. In a terrifying scene, the assailant unleashed approximately 24 rounds inside the restaurant, specifically targeting SGKD. Customers and staff were forced to dive for cover as bullets pierced the walls and glass. SGKD was struck multiple times and was rushed to Ascension All Saints Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. Authorities believe the execution of SGKD was a targeted act of retaliation for the murder of 26-year-old Sia Todd Person, which had occurred just one day earlier near 10th and Park in Racine. The loss of SGKD is a significant blow to the Mafia Town circle as the violence between rival factions crossed state lines from Chicago into southeast Wisconsin. While 3 suspects were recently charged in the murder of Todd Person, the investigation into the specific gunman who opened fire inside the Chicken Palace remains active. Racine police and Area 1 detectives are coordinating to track the suspects involved in this retaliatory cycle. November 7th.
See, gang crime goes all the way up to Wisconsin. Actually, go past Racine. Racine is right, I say, about 2 minutes after you enter Wisconsin from Illinois. Racine is right there by the border of Illinois, Wisconsin. Then about 30 minutes later, you're in Milwaukee. So that's right by Chicago. Because Milwaukee is just about an hour and a half away from Chicago. So Milwaukee is not that far from Chicago. Let's continue with this tape.
2025, Auburn Gresham, Chicago. The late night hours on the 8800 block of South Low Avenue were marked by a targeted shooting at approximately 10 p.m. 37-year-old Ricky Pearson, known as Pretty, repping Glizzy Gang MOE, was discovered unresponsive inside a vehicle. Pretty had sustained 2 gunshot wounds to the chest. He was rushed to Christ Hospital, but the injuries were fatal and he was pronounced dead. Witnesses and initial reports suggest that multiple male offenders approached the vehicle and opened fire before fleeing the scene on foot into the surrounding neighborhood. The loss of Pretty is a significant hit to the Glizzy Gang / MOE circle, No Love City, occurring in a Southside territory that has seen persistent friction between rival factions. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 2 detectives are leading the investigation, focusing on shell casings and forensic evidence recovered from the vehicle. November 12, 2025,
That was a commercial. But yeah, man, it's mostly all these unalive is hits, man. Most of all of them are hits. You know, they acting just straight, like I say, they just don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about life or nothing. That's why I just stay the hell out the way. Let's continue with this.
National Pro. South Shore, Chicago. The evening at the Jackson Park Hospital parking lot was disrupted by a targeted ambush at approximately 7:17 p.m. 35-year-old Akeem Anderson, known as Shark repping Duffel Gang AMG 130, was getting out of a vehicle in the 7600 block of South Stony Island Avenue when an unidentified shooter opened fire. Shark was struck multiple times by the gunfire. Despite being in the immediate vicinity of Jackson Park Hospital, he was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center for trauma care, where he was pronounced dead at 7:44 p.m. The shooter fled the scene immediately and remains at large. The loss of Shark is a significant blow to the Duffel Gang AMG circle, occurring in a high traffic area during the early evening. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 2 detectives are reviewing hospital and street level surveillance footage to identify the assailant or any getaway vehicle involved. November the 15th, 2025, Austin, Chicago, the late morning hours on the 500 block of North Central Avenue turned into a violent ambush at approximately 11:25 a.m. 30-year-old Tamel Deshaun Adams, known as Mini Me, repping Hobmob, was standing outside with a 26-year-old companion when a vehicle suddenly came to a halt nearby. 3 men jumped out of the vehicle and unleashed a heavy barrage of gunfire. Mini Me, a resident of the 5600 block of West Washington Boulevard, was struck multiple times. He was rushed to Stroger Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The second man involved was fortunate to escape with only a graze wound to his foot and declined further medical treatment. The loss of Mini-Me is a significant blow to the Hobmob circle, marking the second loss for the group in less than 2 months following the death of J Money in September. The clinical nature of the 3-man hit squad suggests a highly coordinated attack. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are investigating the shooting. November 16th, 2025, near West Side, Chicago, the early morning hours on the 100 block of North Elizabeth Street were marked by a fatal shooting at approximately 3:05 a.m. 28-year-old Jarradi Shelby, known as Boss Tay, repping Ragtown, was discovered by police lying on the ground suffering from a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Boss Tay, a resident of the Parkway Gardens neighborhood O Block, was rushed to Stroger Hospital. He fought for several hours before being pronounced dead at 8:43 a.m. The circumstances leading up to the shooting remain unclear, as the assailant fled the scene before police arrival. The loss of Boss Tay is a significant event for the Ragtown Circle, occurring in a rapidly developing area of the near West Side. Given his residence in Parkway Gardens, detectives are looking into whether the shooting was related to ongoing friction between South Side and West Side factions. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 3 detectives are leading the investigation. November 21st, 20.
Now, now he was originally from O Block. I know a lot of you guys heard of O Block, who's not from Chicago. Like I say, that's where Chief Keef and all them guys came from. But like they said, different factions was fighting each other on the south side and west side. Yeah, go that click shit. That's that click thing. Let's continue with the video. We got about 6 minutes left. Then we're gonna, a short discussion, a few remarks. Then I'm gonna end this live. So let's continue.
25 near North Side, Chicago, the afternoon turned fatal inside a residence on the 600 block of West Division Street at approximately 4:30 p.m. 22-year-old Joey Terrell Woods, known as T-Baby, repping OTE Out There Entertainment, was inside an apartment when he sustained a gunshot wound to the chest. T-Baby, a resident of the neighboring 500 block of West Division Street, was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Despite medical efforts, he was later pronounced dead. The shooting occurred in the heart of the Marshall Field Garden Apartments, a historical stronghold for the circle. The loss of T-Baby is a significant blow to the OTE collective, occurring during a period of intense activity on the near North Side. Details regarding the shooter or the events leading up to the gunfire remain limited as the investigation continues. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 3 detectives are leading the inquiry into the homicide. November the 23rd, 2025, North Lawndale, Chicago. The evening on the 1200 block of South Independence Boulevard was marked by a violent attack at approximately 9 p.m. 33-year-old D'Angelo Williams, known as Chong, repping Coal Gang, was inside a vehicle with a 23-year-old companion when an unidentified shooter opened fire. Chong was struck multiple times by the gunfire. He was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. The 23-year-old man sustained a gunshot wound to the buttocks and was listed in fair condition at the same hospital. The assailant fled the scene immediately and remains at large. The loss of Chong is a significant blow to the KO gang circle, occurring in a territory on the west side that has seen persistent conflict. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are investigating the motive and searching for any surveillance footage that may have captured the shooter's arrival or escape. November the 28th, 2025, Auburn Gresham, Chicago. The investigation into a late-night domestic dispute has been reclassified as a homicide following the death of 30-year-old Mark.
All right, my bad, people. I'm back. Let's finish it. Let's finish the video.
repping OBN. The incident occurred on November 25th at approximately 11:20 p.m. on the 7700 block of South Carpenter Street. During a heated verbal argument, a 30-year-old woman reportedly stabbed Frazier in the neck with a sharp object. Frazier was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he fought for several days before succumbing to his injuries on Friday, November the 28th. An autopsy confirmed that Frazier died from multiple sharp force injuries. The loss of Mario is a notable event for the OBN circle, marking a tragic end to his life through a domestic confrontation rather than the street friction often associated with the area. A 30-year-old female suspect was taken into custody by police at the scene. Area 2 detectives are continuing their investigation as they coordinate with the state's attorney's office regarding formal charges. December 13, 2025. East Garfield Park, Chicago. The early morning hours on the 700 block of North Lawndale Avenue were marked by a fatal shooting at approximately 3:05 a.m. 24-year-old Antoine Jones, known as Shug, repping MMG 700, was shot in the chest during an incident in the heart of his group's territory. Following the gunfire, Shug was not transported by paramedics. Instead, friends drove him to Stroger Hospital. Despite their efforts to get him medical attention, he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The loss of Shug is a significant blow to the MMG 700 circle, occurring in an area that has seen persistent conflict with surrounding factions on the west side. No suspects are currently in custody, and Area 4 detectives are investigating the circumstances of the shooting, including interviewing the individuals who dropped him off at the hospital. December 15th, 2025, Riverdale Altgeld Gardens, Chicago. The evening on the 13,000 block of South Champlain Avenue was the scene of a violent ambush at approximately 8:15 p.m. 17-year-old Eugene Thompson, known as Gino, repping Duffel Gang AMG 130, was shot and killed in the heart of his group's territory. Responding officers found Gino lying in the street with multiple gunshot wounds. A second victim, a 20-year-old man, was found nearby suffering from a gunshot wound to the lower back. Both were rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where Gino was pronounced dead and the older man was listed in critical condition. The loss of Gino was a heavy blow to the Duffel Gang AMG circle, especially following the loss of Shark just a month prior. At only 17, Gino was a younger member of the collective, and his death in the Altgeld Gardens area has further strained an already volatile situation on the far south side. No suspects are currently in custody. Area 2 detectives are investigating the shooting, looking into whether the attack was carried out by rivals from the surrounding Riverdale or Roseland areas. December 28th, 2025, Blue Island, Illinois. The early morning hours on the 12,200 block of Western Avenue were marked by a fatal shooting at approximately 1 a.m. 32-year-old DeAndre Golden, known as Wu, a prominent and long-standing figure repping 051 Young Money, was shot multiple times. Wu was pronounced dead shortly after the attack. The loss of Wu is a massive development within the Chicago landscape. As a veteran member of 051 Young Money, he was a well-known figure in one of the city's most high-profile alliances. His death in the suburban enclave of Blue Island, away from his primary Southside territory, suggests he may have been followed or targeted at a specific location. Blue Island city officials confirmed that a suspect was quickly taken into custody following the incident. Area detectives and suburban authorities are working together to finalize charges and determine the motive behind the slaying.
All right. As y'all saw, man, there's a lot of unaliving going on, man. You know, a lot of these kids are just, these YNs is just out of control, man. You know, we got to come up with something to, I don't know, to pique their interest or something. You know, I just like to point things out, just let people see what's going on in real life, man. Some of these kids really don't get a chance to live in life. You have to be careful. You basically at a point where you have to take your kids back and forth to school just for their own safety. You can't let your kids go out and play because they might not come back in. You can't let your kids just go to the movie theater by themselves or with friends because they have other things that's be happening like teen takeovers and all that shit. Because they have a it's hard growing up in Chicago as shit, Shotty, some of their mama out there shit party. What's up, JJ? Okay. Yeah, it's not gonna be long because I gotta take my daughter to school. So I just wanted to finish that video I did Friday because I ain't get a chance to. Nah, I don't support genocide. Yep, that's what it is, Shotty. There's no parenting, man. There's no parenting. That's what's lacking too. And like I say, man, Chicago got one of the highest number of teen homelessness. Man, it's crazy. They out here surviving. They out here literally surviving. Well, some of these teens don't even have parents to raise them. You got to think too, some of these teens come out the foster home. They run away from the foster home. There's a whole lot of angles and issues that's going on, man, that's not being taken care of by the so-called politicians we vote for. Because we have so many people walking the street with mental illness. Some people that need help, man. It's crazy. And they don't have no facility for them because they closed all down. Or they say they don't have the funds. Right, exactly, Shadi. Because Shadi, since they started the war, the presidents of them oil companies and all that, they made billions of dollars profit since the war. Billions of dollars. So my question is, why they have to keep raising the prices? Because when you come and I don't know. There's a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of bullshit going on, man. They tell us what they want us to know. But all in all this shit comes down to money. That's what I'm saying, Shotty. That's why I'm trying to show these people when I play these different videos. It's war in the city every day. A lot of them people like in Israel or Iran, the regular people have to watch how they move. Shit might get bombed or whatever. Shit, you down there gotta do that in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So that's how it is. Because that war in Iran is not benefiting the people in the United States. But they'll tell you it is. They'll say, hold on, be patient. It's gonna benefit you. Hold on. Be patient. Hold on. It's gonna be hold on. Hold. Wait. Here you go. Oh, no. It's gonna benefit you. Hold on. And prices steady going up. Food prices steady going up. Gas prices steady going up. What these oil companies do, they put down the gas prices when they want to. Because if you notice, even before the war, gas prices go up and down. Depends on the time of year. So like holiday, like Memorial Day, Independence Day, gas prices normally higher because they know people travel. Their non-traveling time, they go down. You say, what? I know that, right? See, that's why they don't want these electric cars. Because them electric cars will take a lot of money out of them big oil company owners' pockets. Everything is about money, y'all. They ain't fighting for your freedom. Don't let them lie to you like that. Don't let them lie to you. But like Shadi said, we've been fighting for our freedom for the longest since we've been here. We still ain't free. So they ain't fighting for nobody's freedom. That's a bold-faced lie they telling you. That's a bold-faced lie they telling you. Yep. So I just wanted to show you guys, man. Finish that video. I had to take my daughter to school. She's getting ready now. Slept a little bit. Slept a little late. Couldn't, didn't want to get up too early this morning. So I decided to do a little extra sleeping. Because it was a wild, crazy weekend. So I needed that extra rest. Yeah. So hope everybody have a good day, man. Stay blessed up, man. Like I say, man, always know what's happening around you, man. Always know what's happening around you. So on that note, hope everybody have a good day. See you later on. I might be ghost watching until I settle back down a little bit later on this morning. But I hope everybody have a good day.